here on the Adriatic.
Hello! I'm Matthew Horkey.
And I'm Shireen Tan. Together we are
Exotic Wine Travel.
We've spent the last 3 years traveling around the world writing and speaking about unique and exciting wines. Our journey has taken us to both lesser known and established wine regions.
In 2016, we came to Croatia for the first time. We fell in love with the country and the wines, prompting us to write the book Cracking Croatian Wine, a visitor-friendly guide. Now we're at it again. We're going to retour the country and bring our book to life. We aim to take you deep into the Croatian food and wine scene. So sit back, relax, and join us as we go
Cracking Croatian wine.
It's a 2.5-hour ferry ride to our next destination. The view of the Mosor Mountains towering over Split is a sight to behold. It's windy on the Adriatic Sea today, but that's not stopping us from heading to the island of Korčula in South Dalmatia. Korčula was originally settled by the Greeks. Centuries later, the Venetians came. There's even a local legend that Marco Polo was born on the island. Is this true? Nobody really knows. But we're not here to uncover history. We're here for the white grapes Grk and Pošip, 2 wine grapes with limitless potential. We land at the west side of the island and head east to the small village of Lombarda, home of the grape Grk. There are less than 20 hectares of this rare grape planted, and nearly all of it is here in this village. Today we meet up with Ivan Batistic. Together with his brother Marco, they make the wines at their family estate Zure. They also have the largest plantings of Grk. Most of the plants are in the new vineyard in the Dafora location of Korčula. Ivan doesn't hesitate when we ask what his favorite variety in the vineyard is.
Definitely the Grk. So Grk for working in the vineyard, for pruning, for doing works around the wines. Grk is definitely the best.
Zure Winery also makes 2 reds, a sparkling wine, a sweet wine, and 3 whites. We are ecstatic as we prepare to taste these new vintages in their restaurant. One legend says that Grk is named after the Greeks, whom many believe brought the grape to the island. But Ivan has a different story about the grape's nomenclature.
In local, when you say something bitter or tart, you say Grk. Not Grk, but Grk.
Okay.
This wine is Grk. That's why I think I'm closer to that, because in the past, when people were doing Grk, they were doing long macerations. They didn't have stainless steels, they didn't have controlling fermentation.
Now on to the modern stuff. Zure is the only producer that makes a sparkling and a sweet wine from Grk. We tasted the sparkling when it was released a year ago, and it's still showing great today. The traditional sweet wine named Prošek isn't half bad either.
Goldy color.
All this tasting has made us hungry. Luckily, Ivan's father is a fisherman. Everything that is served in the restaurant comes from the daily catch. First up is an octopus salad. Next is a Croatian seafood stew. It's all lip-smackingly good, especially the pasta with fresh lobster cooked in its own broth. We're stuffed, but we make it for the sunset at the Zure guest house. With views like this, you can understand why we love Korčula so much. In the morning, we have an appointment with a legendary Croatian producer, Bire Winery. The property is high above Lombarda. Proprietor and winemaker Frano Milina Bire is considered the steward of modern Grk, and he tells us what makes the grape so special.
Now people have new technology, and Grk is not so bitter. It's very fresh, very fruity, and bitter is very, very little. And give one complex last note. Grk have only 1 female flowers. I need one other variety for pollination, and because have a small and big grape, and this grape have a little more acidity, and bigger, have more liquid and more sugar. And this combination acidity sugar is very fresh, fruity, and it's not typical for south part of country.
Frano sells out of Grk quickly every year after bottling. His tasting room is always packed during the summer season. Today, he's nice enough to spend time with us and open 2 vintages of the Grk de Fora, a single vineyard barrel fermented surly wine.
Are you done? Are you taking a video? Are you taking a picture? Feel the fruit and then you feel the acidity both come together at the same time. It's fantastic.
Happy with it?
I think it's fantastic, yeah. There's a really, like, you know what you get in Great Tokaj as well, that tension of the acidity.
Although there are only 2 vintages of this wine, we've put it up there among Croatia's greatest wines.
It's total different wine. It's another story.
Yeah.
It's big wine. Yeah.
Later in the morning, we head to Korčula town, a medieval walled city on the eastern tip of the island. We're going sailing, and Dimitri from Lešić Dimitri Palace is our skipper for the day.
What I want?
With over 1,000 islands, drop-dead gorgeous views, and crystal clear water, Croatia is a sailor's paradise.
It's going pretty fast.
The depth, yeah.
During the high season, it's a playground for the rich, with sailboats and yachts aplenty. There are also many restaurants and sites that are only accessible by boat, like this old Franciscan monastery on the small island of Bire. Our time on the boat is fairly short, but very refreshing.
Because Grk tastes better than water. Who cares about winter?
Now it's time for lunch. Lešić Dimitri Palace is one of the few 5-star accommodations in southern Dalmatia. It's built into the old part of Korčula town. It also houses a Michelin guide restaurant. And today, Chef Marko Gajski has prepared lunch for us.
A dish called gambero rosso, which is usually served as small fishes and prawns in their shells with the bones and everything, fried. With a side of tartar sauce, a little bit of lemon juice, but we are doing something completely different, using just that beautiful ingredient gambero rosso, which we use every part on the plate.
The gambero rosso is a killer dish, and the next dish is equally exciting.
My interpretation of komiška pogača, which is usually traditionally presented as some kind of pie, some kind of dough filled with tomatoes, salted anchovies, a little bit of parsley or something like that. And I'm doing something completely different, something completely crazy.
Wow. Texture, texture, texture. Love it.
Next up, some quail.
Celery and potato puree. You got also there some toasted pistachio, egg yolk, and quail sauce.
And dessert.
So this is modern version of Međimurska givanica, traditional dessert from Slovenia. So you got right here puffy pastry filled with apple terrina, panna cotta with poppy seeds, some caramel, and toasted almonds.
Korčula is a unique place in whole Croatia because it's untouched, still untouched of the massive tourism. Korčula is also very familiar about their vegetable production, olive oil production, winemakers. And if you ask any Korčula guy who has a free day or day off, what you're gonna do, he will say, I'm going to little islands and open some sea urchins and to eat.
Korčula's other flagship grape has a home in the Cara Valley. It's here the Grape Pošip thrives. It's a white grape that produces wines with tropical fruit flavors and bouncy acidity. Well-made examples can have similar structure to Chardonnay. We're stopping by one of the few remaining cooperative wineries in Croatia, Grk Pošip Čara. The winemaker Janko Jovanov has been critical in the handling of the grape and helping small winemakers get started. Mr. Janko isn't here today, but his assistant Igor is there to greet us. Pošip Čara produces very good wine, especially at the volume that they make. Their flagship yellow label Pošip can resemble white Burgundy from the Côte Chalonnaise or Mâconnais. Their reserve Pošip named Marco Polo is also excellent, vintage after vintage. Just south of the Čara Valley is the seaside village of Zavalatica. It's home to Luka Krajančić, who's considered the godfather of modern Pošip. He was among the first to produce clean, crisp, and modern wines from the grape. While Luka's specialty is Pošip, he also produces a delicious red and rosé Plavec Mali. He's an artist and paints all of the wine labels. The Krajančić Entrada is the flagship wine of the estate, but his greatest wines may be the Statute and Pošip Surly. They are excellent and can resemble white Burgundy from Merceau. We ask Luka what makes Pošip so special.
I'm happy when I'm drinking this wine. But it is not just a happy wine. It is also the wine for making philosophy. One of the greatest philosopher of the world, Socrates. He told, "Can you imagine how many things I don't need in my life? This is my life philosophy, and I am not looking for biggest car, but I'm looking for a good wine. And if I'm asking what I need in my life, so this is wine from Pošip."
For the finale, we retaste Opera. It's a sweet wine made from late harvest dried berries. Like all Krajančić wines, it's spectacular and pairs perfectly with an egg flan cake that Luka gives us.
I eat this and I eat this, and both flavors retain inside my mouth. Nothing cancels.
Needs it, and on all of this position.
It's late when we make it back to Korčula town in our room at Lešić Dimitri Palace.
What do you think about the kitchen?
I don't need to think about the kitchen. I don't need to use the kitchen.
The apartments are huge and arranged by theme. Somehow we ended up with the China suite. Regardless, it's a perfect room to end the long day in.
Good morning, Korčula.
Morning comes quickly and it's time for breakfast. The spread is varied, fresh, and delicious.
Very good scrambled eggs. It's not easy to make a good scrambled egg.
It's our last day on this wonderful island. There's no time to feel bad for us though. Next, we're heading across the strait to the Pelješac Peninsula, the spiritual home of Plavec Mali.
If you would like to learn more about Croatia and Croatian wine, check out our book Cracking Croatian Wine on Amazon.